The player life. We teach this in the Red Pill, how to be a womanizer, how to sleep with a bunch of women, but what happens after the player life? That's the first question. The second question is, when does a man decide to exit the player life? Does he make the decision, or is the decision made for him? The panel discusses this next. The Six starts right now. What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of The Six. I, of course, am your humble correspondent, Donovan Sharp. We're going to be without Minister Jap tonight. I think Jap was at some sort of RP convention, something or other, down in Atlanta that he was talking about a little bit earlier. So we're going to be without him tonight. No problem. But listen, let's just jump right in. Before we go ahead and get this party started, let me introduce tonight's esteemed panel. First up, the man out in the 312. Oh, wait a minute. The man out in the 312. It is Coach EO. EO, what's going on? I'll get you guys individually here in just a second.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good to be back. Good topic tonight. It's definitely for the seasoned, and I anticipate a good discussion. So shout out to everyone. You can find me at championgamecoaching.com. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. There we go. So we got Coach EO squared away. Now I got to go back to the main. Okay, next up, the dude probably with the illest pimp game on the panel. It is the Book of Alpharonomy. BOA, what's going on, man?
What's good, brothers? What's good, man? Good to be back. Had a week off last week, man. Rejuvenated and all that, man. I'm quite sure we all need it, especially with the time of year it is. We back, man, and this is one hell of a topic. Yes, I'm kind of glad you and EO didn't discuss it, man, and left it for the panel, man. It's a good one.
Hey, man, listen, I had to leave a little bit of meat on the bone. By the way, how was your Thanksgiving, BOA?
Man, listen, I decided that I was going to take all my camera gear and all that and do some footage in Atlanta. I drove 7 hours.
Woo!
Stayed over there for almost a week and then drove back 7 hours. So,
oh my goodness.
Let's go ahead and talk New Year's now, man. I'm ready to get past all this shit right now, bro.
Good stuff. Next up on the panel, it's the man who has been on Fox News. He's been on Rogan. Where else have you been? You've been all over TV.
Pool.
Yep. The Timcast IRL. It is Hotep Jesus.
Like really nondescript dude's channel, Donovan Sharp. So
who the fuck is that dude? Donovan who? The fuck is that nigga? How was your Thanksgiving, man?
It sucked. I had COVID, so.
Oh, that's right. I
enjoy none of the foods.
Damn, dude. So listen, so you're back with us after COVID. I don't want to get this thing flagged or anything like that, but talk to us about what the C19 was like for you. Like you got over it, you're healthy, you're looking good. What was that experience like for you?
It's just extreme fatigue. You just don't feel like moving. You'll have temperature changes in your body. For me, the recovery process was amazing.
Good.
Spiritually and mentally, I just completely avoided my phone. I wasn't answering text messages, emails, and I wasn't checking social media. And I've unlocked another level of myself. So I'm quite thankful that I had it because it gave me a lot of alone time. I quarantined myself from the family, and usually when a man gets alone time, he levels up. So that's exactly what happened. So I have new ambitions, new outlook on life. So it was good for me, man.
So Hotep has found another level, which makes us all just a little bit dumber at this point.
That's true, though.
Listen, Hotep is definitely the brainiac of the panel. Last and certainly not least, it is Kevin Savo. Kevin, what's going on, brother? How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was all good. It's good to see everybody again. The third episode of my sitcom that stars Donovan Sharp is out. That's at the Adventures of Sabaho channel. That's my sitcom where I actually play Captain Sabaho like he's a real character. And your boy Donovan Sharp here is like an esteemed actor. You wouldn't know it. His cameo is legit. No, it was like really legit. Like the whole comment section is like, oh wow, he can fucking act. The whole comment section.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. We are actually going to. So what I'm going to do, and I apologize for the craziness, but I think I've got everything squared away. I'm going to play the Sabaho trailer. It drops tomorrow. Actually,
no, it's out right now.
It's already out right now. So I'm going to drop the Sabaho trailer. We're gonna watch that right now. Here we go.
I have no idea where you came from, but you've put me through so much goddamn shit over the past week.
I thought we were gonna outsource to the FBI, not hire some pistol-carrying simp.
I paid y'all for a job that y'all didn't even handle.
What is it you want, Chocolate Daddy?
I want Sabo.
This shit's getting old. Nah, I'm through, man.
You never go down on me.
The reason I never go down on you is because your vagina smells horrific.
That is absolutely classic. I watched the entire episode today. I'm invested, man. I'm like, oh my god, it's a cliffhanger. What are we gonna do? Yeah, listen, guys, I'm working on the sound stuff, man. It is what it is. Okay, listen, let's go ahead and get into the topic at hand. So. The topic today is when does a man decide he is finished with the player life? Now, all of us, I'm pretty sure that all of us, except with the exception of Kevin, he's the young guy on the panel. He's probably still in that stage.
I'm not done. I'm far from done.
Oh, okay. I was going to say he definitely is not done with the player life. But it'll be interesting to get your perspective. Let's start with EO here because, listen, you and I are about the same age. I think you're a few years younger than I am, but we have both been you're in a committed relationship at this time. You did the whole player thing. When did you decide to give up the player life and be in a committed relationship, or was the decision made for you?
The decision was definitely not made for me, and it's one of those things that you have to settle into. We talk about settling down. You have to settle into a life you're proud of. As a man, that's number one. You got to really settle into a mission and a life that you're extremely proud of. You're tapped into, and at that point, you're not really see even me. I wasn't even looking for anything like that because I'm a very content man with or without a woman.
Right.
But clearly, if you get a woman on your team who respects you, who loves you, and who works for you, who's committed to the mission. And you're committed to hers too. You guys both have individual desires. Like SNO, she's a psychologist. So there's a mutual understanding of human psychology that we both can actually engage in and have that conversation. So that was part of it too. It wasn't like her mind and the things she knows about in her field resonates with what I do. Now, I wouldn't have probably, I would never have committed to or given my time to a woman that was a bar girl or just in the service industry. I just probably wouldn't have done that because there would have been nothing to group upon, group and tag up together and build something.
Right.
So it's one of those things I'd rather have guys. I recommend guys start early, and I said this at a prior show that guys got to start early, understanding women, dealing with women.
Yes.
And so you get that out of your system. You have sex with women, you deal with them, all different types of races, ages. Fuck with a MILF, fuck with a young chick. Deal with a single mother, deal with her, so you know what that's like to deal with her, because she's going to bring something to the table that a woman without children is going to bring, and vice versa. But you want to have those experiences. You don't want to wait till you're 40 and you're like, oh, now I want to discover women. Well, it's kind of late in a way. It's a little bit late because you're playing a lot of catch up. So for me, my advice to the audience is you want to settle into a life you're extremely proud of. You do want to have a lot of experiences with women to know that you can live with her or you can live without her. You'll be fine either way. And if you got a woman that brings peace to your life, that is a contributor, she's a workhorse, and that's the only type of woman, in my opinion, that a man of our caliber in your 40s, the only type of woman that you should consider bringing into your situation as a primary number one, or that's your only girl, or even if you want to have a team, is women that contribute.
Yes.
Women that are bought into you as the man, and even your mission in life. So that's what I'll say. Instead of settling for her, make sure you settle into a life that you're in love with and that you're extremely proud of.
Good, I like that. That's very good advice. Make sure you settle into a life that you are in love with. BOA. Now, if I'm not mistaken, you're not really done with the player life. You don't strike me as a guy who's really interested in a long-term relationship. Am I wrong about that, or does the situation have to make sense for you?
Man, I actually have a situation I'm in that makes sense for me now.
Oh shit! All right, speak on it, bruh.
So I just feel like at a certain point you get to the point where the payoff for being a player just doesn't pay off. It doesn't measure up to you can't have an expectation for any woman in the player life, and you get to the point in life where every effort has an expected result, and so you end up just not doing things anymore that can't give you that result. So for me, it just got to the point where I was already settled down. So men tend to quantify everything they do in their lives with how it affects a woman and what type of effect a woman has on their life. But most of us, when you build the life that you want, as EO was saying, when you put yourself in the most alpha position and you just settle into your life, at that point, it's okay to add a woman to it if she fits into that position that you have available. But if your life isn't stable yet, you don't have a position for a woman to fit in, because you got to be ready to go. If you're still getting it, and so, like Hotep and I were talking about earlier, let's say you're in a particular industry and you're trying to get a leg in, and somebody says, hey man, we need you to be in New York on Monday. You don't need to have to talk to no woman about, well, when you gonna be back, and and can I go with you, and can we FaceTime every day, and all that type of shit. So once you get into a point as a man, and hopefully you're there by the time you get into your late 30s, early 40s, man, and you're not still out there having to just grind like a young cat. Once you get to a certain point in life, man, you look at your life, you're like, okay, my life is pretty routine right now. It's so routine that if I decide I want to take a trip, I can just go. Because everything else is just so routine. And so it gets to the point, man, where you feel like it's the perfect time to fit a woman in, if she can fit. And fortunately for me, just like with EO, you, Donovan, Hotep's going to speak. I think Hotep as well, I believe.
Yeah.
You just get to the point where it makes sense in your life to where, you can. It's almost like that last piece of furniture you need. You know what I'm saying? You got the sofa, you got all this shit in there. You're like, damn, I need an end table over there, man. Every time I'm sitting on that shit, I had to put my cup on the floor. So you get that end table, and it completes your living room.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how I view the situation. And so my living room is straight right now. Now I ain't saying I won't never have to change that fucking table out, but right now my living room is complete.
Good. I like that.
Let me say this, Donovan. I say this to the guys listening. Don't ever feel like you have to be pressured into doing that, because even if you think she's a good woman, you still have to dictate your actions by where you are in life.
Yes.
And if she can't stick around until you put yourself in the position you want to be in, then as much as you might think she is, she's just not the one for your life, because you have to fit her in where she fits, not where the hell she wants to get.
I like that, man. Not being pressured to be in a relationship just because people around you are telling you that it's time. A lot of guys make bad decisions with women based on what the people around them are talking about. Hotep, what are your thoughts? Now, you're clearly in a long-term relationship. You have children. Like, you're doing the American dream thing. Clearly, you had a player phase. When did the switch flip for you? When did you decide?
It never did.
Oh, it never did. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it still ain't flipped. It flips for her.
Oops. Oh shit. Okay.
I'm just a smart nigga, and there's this old phrase that go, it's cheaper to keep her.
Yes, sir.
Especially when you got kids with a woman. I've prioritized the kids over everything. I've got twin boys.
Okay.
And they're 12 years old. So I prioritize that life over the relationship. To me, the relationship is secondary to the fact that I have kids. Okay.
Right.
The relationship is a complement to the fact that I have kids. Here's the one thing I want to say though is, player life can be self-destructive.
Shit, man, you are not lying.
It's not something a man should aspire to. It's a reward after a man has completed many of his ultimate goals.
Right. Right.
The ability to be a player is a reward after you've reached a certain level of success. Prior to having a certain level of success, the only time you have for women would be downtime.
Right.
And even downtime, I would assume to be still opportunity for self-reflection, self-building,
right.
et cetera, et cetera. And this is, again, something I realized while I was sick, that alone time and how valuable that can be.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But player life is self-destructive, or can be self-destructive, because, when you think about settling down, the first thing you got to think about is money.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
The other thing you got to think about is, where are you mentally? If you're not strong mentally, you're probably not ready for a relationship, because a woman has the ability to destroy you emotionally, and emotionally she'll be able to destroy you mentally. If she destroys you mentally, you can unravel everything you've done. So you've got to be at a very special place mentally. But the biggest problem with women is time.
Yeah.
You take your time. While you're with them, you could be doing something more productive, right? So, the player life, or being with women, is really something that demonstrates your level of discipline, because some people allow the player life to get in the way of success,
right?
Attaining goals, that type of situation. I know this because I was young and dumb once.
That's right.
I was chasing women, and I wouldn't say my career got away, but I could have spent more time on my career in hindsight, right? I could have spent more time learning. I was always that type of driven person who just always had a business, starting from the age of 16. So I never really allowed women to sidetrack me like that. But in hindsight, there were moments where women, they just take your time.
Yeah.
They take all your time. So there's two things you got to look at. You got to look at yourself and a woman, and we'll dissect that a little bit later.
Wow, very, very well said. Before I get to Sabo, let me read these. Let me read these super chats. They're coming in hot and heavy. Shout out to the 250 people watching, guys. Please hit the like button, like, share, subscribe. Likes are free. Josh, $10 super chat says, had to hop off a CGA video, but gotta show love and live. Appreciate that very, very much. Josh, and again with another $5 super chat, says, this show is stacked, subscribing to all of you that I'm not already subbed to. Appreciate that. Shout out to Ricky Webster, welcome to chat privileges. And let's see, we've got Carlos R with the $2 super chat, says, I appreciate all the game as usual, fellas. Ricky Webster again, $10, says, much love to everyone here. French toast props due, you better believe it. Ricky Webster again, $5, says, glad you are back on the saddle and well. Appreciate that and listen, we appreciate the support, guys. We really, really do.
Absolutely.
So Savo, you're the young guy. You're the young guy on the panel. Clearly, you're 25 years old. You're still doing the whole player life thing. What are your thoughts on? You probably haven't even thought about when it's time to turn in your player card, or have you?
No, I have a great deal, actually. I think after you've gone through a couple of rotations of women and dealt with the chaos that comes with that, you start to see why guys actually get tired of it.
Yes.
You get to see why guys it gets played out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys consider the player life to be a young man's game, or if it's an OG's game as well, depending on the individual. But when, in terms of asking the question, when is it time to settle down, I'm obviously too young to give advice on that.
Sure.
But what I would imagine it would be, and I don't think I'm wrong, is I'd imagine it would be when you find someone that things just work with well. Like you and your partner work well together.
Right.
Not she's the sexiest, she's the most exciting, she gives the best head. Not based on those kind of reasons. I do think the most exciting woman to you will be your downfall.
Bingo.
And I do believe it would be, if I was ever to settle down, I'd find somebody that I could settle into some sort of routine with and work well with. And that would be the priority upon how I selected that person. It wouldn't be, oh, she's got the biggest tits, she's the most exciting, she's the most wild, because that can tip too far.
No, I agree 100%, man. To make a very, very, very long story very, very short, most guys here know what my story is, right? I was in Vegas, did the whole player life thing. My decision to leave the player life, it was my decision, but the decision was actually made for me before I actually decided to do something about it. Long story short, you guys know I was big into strippers, blow, banging bitches all over the place. I beat the crap out of some guy in a parking lot over a pizza and caught my fourth felony charge. And I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget. I will never forget this as long as I live. So for those of you guys who have been arrested before, you don't have to say that you have. But when they have you, or when they arrest you, and this is anywhere you go, they have you handcuffed to the wall, and they've got the computers in front of you. They're checking to see if there's any outstanding warrants, things of that nature. And so I'm sitting next to this dude. He's like, "Yeah, man, what you in for? Like, what they get you on?" I was like, "Aggravated assault." He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "You got priors?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Felonies?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "How many?" I said 3. He's like, "Oh shit, nigga, you finna be up there with OJ." And as funny as it is now, it was not funny then. That was the first time. That was the very first time in my life, and I'd been arrested a bunch of times, all kinds of just doing stupid shit. I never thought for one second I would ever see the inside of a jail cell for an extended period of time or a sentence. I've spent a total of 2 weeks in jail, but never on, it wasn't because of sentencing or anything like that. It was because at that point I just didn't have the money to get out, had to wait till I got paid. Fast forward here to 2015. Right, dude, this is November of 2015, so this is going on 7. God damn, this is 6 years ago. I'm sitting handcuffed to the wall, and for the very first time, I said to myself, I might actually go to jail for quite a while. My lawyer pulled a rabbit out of his hat. I'm thinking he probably had naked pictures of judges and working girls or something. I don't know how he managed to get me out of that situation, but that was the genesis of me saying, okay, I wasn't looking for a relationship when I met Devin, but I knew that I had to get out of the life that I was living. I've been very, very lucky in my life. I've been in some messed up situations. I've lived a fast, hard life. I'll probably die in 10 years because of all the damage I've done to my body. But what it really comes down to, and it's just like Hotep said, man, the player life can be very, very self-destructive. I am 100% in agreement with that. Is it a great time? Abso-fucking-lutely. There is nothing more exciting than sticking your dick in a new vagina. Dude, there's nothing like it. But guys, there are drawbacks that come with the player life. Dude, STD scares. If you hear a knock on your door, is it some bitch that I, fucked a year ago and now she's got a 1-year-old kid that looks just like me looking at me? There's all sorts of drawbacks that come with the player life. The player life is not as glamorous as the media makes it look like, because there's always some shit with it. Yes, it's fun, but it comes at a price, and sometimes it can really cost you your life. EO, what do you have to add to that?
No, that's a great point. I have a series called Player Tips on my channel where I give these player tips. Like, I think every guy should have a player vibe to him in some way, in his own way. Not like me, not like Hotep or BOA or any of the other guys, but in your own way, you should have that kind of player vibe about you. That doesn't mean you have to live a player lifestyle, but you should have a player vibe. I always say that no matter what the woman is, this is my opinion, of course, but every woman is a pretty nuisance. All women are nuisances to me. And no matter how good she is, she could come in and not say a word. Not that I don't want her to say a word. I like a woman who has an opinion, because sometimes they offer good advice. But no matter what, at the end of the day, to a man like me, and I would imagine to the men on this panel, they're still a nuisance. They're cutting into personal time. You do have to guide them. You have to guide them, bro. I mean, they're like puppies, man, and then they turn into senior dogs too if you're with them long enough. So then you got to nurture that. So and women might get upset with that, but it's truly how I feel about it. And no matter what, at the end of the day, a woman is going to be a nuisance to a man that's busy doing things, that's contributing to things and stuff like that. So I want to tell guys that get the experience out of the way and get with some real sexy women. deal with some low value women so you never marry a low value woman, because you gotta deal with a low value woman.
You are not kidding.
You never want to marry a bitch like that, okay? But you'll never know that just hearing me say it, okay, or BOA say it, or these guys say it. So you got to get out there and taste some low value bitches. Now, of course, put a rubber on and don't eat the pussy. But you know,
yes, sir.
Get that experience to know she ain't shit. She's a nuisance. And like I said at my CME speech, I said, who here wants to die early? If you want to die early and have hypertension and lose your fucking mind, then marry a bitch. You know, so you got to marry a boring woman, someone who wants to go to Menards with you, wants to go run errands with you. Get that pretty shit out of your system. I'm not saying to marry an ugly ass dog that you can't look at. No, marry a 6.5 that, and then you rise her up to about an 8.5 tops. But she still got an ass you like when she walks to the bathroom. You like that ass. You know?
That's right.
She does it for you. She does it for you. Fuck what everybody thinks. And here's the last point. A lot of guys here come to our channels, and although we give good advice, but remember though, you can't build your life based on what I said. You got to get out there and experience it yourself. Fuck what EO thinks. You know, you got to go out there and figure out, what do you like? Who does it for you? You also have to know yourself inside and out. Like, I know all my strengths and I know where my weaknesses are too. And I would never bring a girl in full time, or even at all at this point, that brings that side out of me. I don't want the monster to come out. I want that godliness to come out. To be honest with you, I want godliness to come out. I don't want that devil to come out. So in order to know which woman to pick in the end, you got to taste some of those trashy ass women, and then you know, bless them on their journey. But you ain't gonna be my wife.
What do you mean, bring the devil out?
Well, I mean, you know, because I'm the devil and God both. You know, like I have both sides to me.
Shit,
and I could be a fucking I could be a maniac, or I could be a monk sitting here giving you advice. So you know, I want to stay in that godly place where I can give the highest portion of my being and my wisdom that's channeling from a higher energy. So, but I have the capability of being a monster, and I know that. And I've seen that, and I broke my arm because of that, being a drunkard and being a womanizer, and that's how I got fucked up. And so you want to be a centered man, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and financially, all areas.
I think EO and I, before I go to BOA here, dude, this is why EO and I have a show together, because, dude, I swear to God, we either have the same mother or the same father, because it's like, listen, man, and you can ask Devin, I can be the most fun-loving guy there ever was, but she knows as well as anybody does. I have a very dark side to me. You guys all know I have a violent temper problem and all this other kind of stuff, and I've gotten help for it. But I agree with EO 100%. You need a woman who keeps you balanced, and you don't, just like Savo said, man, you don't want to get with the exciting bitch. Dude, leave all those exciting bitches alone as far as long-term relationships are concerned. Get you a boring bitch who wants to sit there and watch Netflix and watch boring documentaries, because those are not the bitches that are going to give you hypertension. Now, does Devin drive me crazy sometimes? Absolutely. Does she turn me into a monster sometimes? You better believe it, but it doesn't happen often. So get you a woman that doesn't turn you into that monster as often as some of these exciting bitches. BOA, I'd like to get your thoughts on what EO just said in terms of keeping it in your mind. Like, hey man, these bitches really ain't shit. They're just kind of a perk. How important is it for a man to keep that in mind when he is doing the player life thing and maybe thinking about transitioning?
You know, I think one of the most important things for men to understand is that for every good thing that a woman has, just as simple as we say, she's still a bitch.
That's right.
Most of the time, she's a bitch. And what your goal as a man is to have an environment that you control so much that she can't afford to be a bitch all the time, because you got shit for her to do.
Right.
That housewife shit, man, that's old. Don't think you're gonna get into a situation. I got a homie in a situation like that right now, man, trying to do that traditional shit, man, making all the money in the motherfucking world, man. Motherfuckers living check to check. You know what I'm saying? Because he's got a woman in a situation that's not contributing. Motherfuckers say you need 2 incomes. No, you don't need 2 incomes. You need a woman with a mind to make your 1 income be like 2.
Yes, sir.
So A lot of times these guys think you're going to transition into the player life, and like EO said, you leave your fucking player persona behind.
That's right.
You're changing the life. You're not becoming some fucking square, some beta male simp mangina motherfucker over there. You still the same guy, because you need that more with one woman than you need with 10.
Thanks.
When you eliminate the options, this is how you know you're a true player, true pimp, true alpha, true whatever. When you eliminate all of those fucking options, and you can still maintain that fucking masculine energy, that dominance, that control with one woman who's willingly following your fucking lead. So like the guy said, I'm kind of like, I can be the simp pimp or I can be the gorilla pimp. And I try to stay away from the gorilla pimp, because that guy there, man, he get your ass locked up somewhere.
Real talk.
You be
Real talk.
You be locked up, or you got to go to war with some woman, brothers and uncles and all of that type of shit. So I try to stay away from that. And the very moment a woman pushes you to that point, or a woman seems like her energy pulls that from you, she's not the one, bro. You cannot, you can't build a bitch. And that's what EO was saying about learning how women are, so you'll know what works for you and what doesn't. Otherwise, man, you'll have a woman that doesn't fit into your shit, and you got this square peg. I'm talking about with a hammer, fucking chisel, everything, trying to get that shit to fit into a fucking round hole.
Happen.
And one thing I'll say, man, before I leave this alone, man, you have to keep in mind, brothers, that the main thing that a woman can do for you, you got two kind of women that you can have. You can love her, or you can like to fuck her. It don't matter how beautiful she is. As long as you like to fuck her. I mean, as long as you're aroused by that woman when she comes in the room, I wouldn't give a shit what number you give her. She could be a 5. If that 5 arouses you, that's as beautiful as a woman has to be.
That's it.
As long as she arouses you. And I'll tell you a secret. The more shit she does, the more value she has in other areas, you'll start to notice that, goddamn, I thought she was a 5 when I got her. She's a 7 now. And the only time she has to be upgraded to an 8, 8.5, 9 is when you fucking going out somewhere.
There it is.
So you can floss like a player with a bad bra. Otherwise, let her be at the crib and let her be who she is, man, and let her be the type of woman who has no desire to figure out what's out there. Because if she wants to know what's out there, trust me, brother, at some point, her ass gonna go figure it out.
You know it. You know it.
Real quick point, if you don't mind, 10
Yeah, go ahead, man.
BOA says something that triggers something, and that was a dope segment, B.
Appreciate it, bro.
I hear too many guys talking about, I want my girl to look good around the house. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck what you're wearing, as long as this motherfucker is clean and I got everything I need. You could wear fucking jogging pants and a hoodie. All I give a shit, because I know what's under that motherfucker anyway. So I guys need to stop caring about that shit and put her to work, because like BOA said, and here's the other thing: if you got her dialed up too much. If you're like, hey, I want you looking a certain way, trust me, she's going to want to look that way even more. And that's going to even hey, this is going to sound fucked up. It's the truth. She's going to garner, she's going to be looking for that validation outside. The more done up she is, the more she falls in love with that image. And so you got to keep the image humble. Okay, hear me out. You got to keep that image humble, because if you manufacture this image that she becomes attached to, then she wants to live out that image. She wants to become that persona. So you want her to become a humble persona. You want her to become that workhorse persona. But when it's time to go out and floss a little bit, have her put her skinny jeans on and have that little walk, and you guys go into that establishment, you guys have a good ass time. But just be careful trying to build this real sexy woman, because if she falls in love with that persona, you got some troubles on your hand.
I'll tell you this:
monster you may not be able to pull back.
Look, I'll tell you this. Listen. You're absolutely right. I'm actually in a transition right now. I've actually got Dev looking like a bad bitch around the house all the time. This is something I literally just did. Like not even a week ago. I just got tired of her. Because we don't ever go anywhere. Sometimes we'll go out. I just got tired of her just walking around the house looking like she's not trying. I was like, yo, check this out. From now on, you're gonna have makeup on all day long, dude. She's got on this little A-line skirt or whatever. She's got a nice midriff. She's got the flat stomach. She's got the nice big shelf tits. She's looking good. But I will tell you this: if her ass, listen, she can fall in love with that image all she wants to. Let her ass step out of line when we're out. Let her ass try some attention-seeking behavior when we're out of the house. All I gotta do is look at her. And here's the thing, man. I'm not worried about anyone taking her from me. You know what I'm saying? And not that I'm saying EO is suggesting that.
Right.
But Devin looks good.
No.
Right. Dev looks good wherever she goes, except for here in the house. I'm like, dude, we almost never leave the house. So guess what? I need to see them legs. I need to see them titties. I need to see that ass. But here's the thing. And not everybody can do this. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody for this, but I want Dev to look good and put her to work. I've actually pulled back on her workload a little bit because she's been going so hard that it's hard for her to relax. So there is definitely a balance. But I agree with you. If you don't have the kind of rock solid frame that guys like us up here have, listen, there's no need. Don't let the woman fall in love with that image. Listen, Dev, as far as I'm concerned, Devin can fall in love with the image all she wants to. If she wants somebody else out there, she is more than welcome to go out there and get it. Men with a scarcity mindset would not be able to handle that kind of attention. If you can keep her in line, even though she's looking good all the time, then you can do that. But if there's a little bit of doubt in your mind, listen, pull back. That's something you can do next level when and if the time comes. Hotep, what you got, man? What do you think about that?
Nah, I totally agree. You definitely don't, want your chick getting too hot.
I like it. Dude, listen, I like it when she's too hot because I know I can handle it.
But Donovan, you gotta understand you're a different age bracket.
Yeah, that's true.
It's different when you in that age bracket.
Yeah, because I'm 44 and not 24, right?
Yeah, y'all like,
I need a little more.
Y'all living like y'all second lives.
Okay, all right, okay.
When a woman is 20 something or
Very
approaching
nice.
30,
Yes, sir.
For example, if Devin leave you, it's a wrap for her.
Yes. Oh yes.
It's a wrap. She never gonna get another catch
Nope.
because she's already past that age of being desirable, right?
That's right.
Now these young girls, they might start thinking, wait, I might be able to get a better catch.
There you go.
And that be the problem. It's
Like the girls fucking me have access to the whole town.
There it is.
Right. So,
There it is.
You get a chick and you start boosting her ego a little too much, and she's got that time window. She might exercise it like what Coach EO is saying.
That makes
now,
sense. It is an age thing. Okay.
Another thing I wanted to say was a man's unexperienced vices are hidden vulnerabilities.
Oh wow. Good.
And this
God.
is what Coach EO was talking about before. If you haven't experienced certain things, you're definitely not ready to settle down, especially if they're in your mind.
Yes.
It's like, I never had an Asian chick before, or I never had this before. I never had, two women at the same time. Whatever that is, you might want to experience that before you settle down. Because especially when you become a powerful person, it could be used against you.
Yes.
As you see with, like Cuomo, for example.
Yes.
You could tell with a guy like
Wiener.
Cuomo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell with a guy like Cuomo, who never had a chance to experience women in his younger age.
That's right.
Is now pulling perverted stuff.
Yep.
And now his
There you
brother
go.
got to get fired because he got to run behind him and find out what's going on.
Facts. Yes, facts.
So you got to make sure you experience a lot of different types of situations with women, and even life in general is concerned. And then the thing about settling down for me, like I say, a man never settles down. He simply prepares to vacate his throne for his heir.
What? Wow. Wow.
You're preparing the protege.
Jesus fucking Christ.
A man wants to live forever, and the only way he can do that is to prepare a protege.
There you go.
Right? Well, of course, you can be George Washington or something like that, but you want to prepare a protege. That's the person that's going to carry on your legacy. Now, it could be adopted, it could be somebody who's an intern, or it could be your actual blood.
Right.
And that's what man is preparing for. So you're not looking for, and I said this before, you're not looking for a woman, you're looking for a mother. Somebody who is going to give you great children. Somebody who has values that you'd like to see passed down to your children, especially if you accidentally have a daughter. And you definitely don't want those accidents.
Oh my God! Did you say accidentally have a dog?
That's real shit.
Yeah,
hey, real talk.
Like I had my firstborn was a girl, so I said I had to quickly get the boys right behind there.
Yes, sir.
So I got twin boys. And there are things you can do to make sure that these things happen metaphysically, but we're not going to get into that. But that's what I say. A man doesn't settle down. He simply prepares to vacate the throne for his heir.
I love it, man. Sabo, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Oh, my thoughts are I got a host of reasons not to settle down.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I think, when you think of young dudes thinking about their time to settle down, I mean, they're thinking that's years away. But, I mean, the reason a lot of people do is because of infatuation. So that's the number one thing I think I'd stick into the conversation is that never ever settle down just because you have found the most exciting chick possible. And I think sometimes actually you may even have a situation where you have a rotation. Maybe you got 2, 3, 4 women, and now you want to push aside 2 or 3 of them for the one baddest. I think that's, for the most part, I think a lot of people settle down for those reasons. I don't think people often do settle down these days due to the thought process of, can we maintain a home together? Do we work well off of each other? Does she fit into my frame? Does she follow my lead? And I think the decision should be made purely based on those principles. I think even though I'm a young cat, I understand that much because, you look at why most relationships fall apart, and I think most of the time it is because people sought infatuation.
Yes.
They sought excitement. They sought the craziest, wildest chick. I think the woman that does it for you in every single way possible is going to be your downfall. That's what I think personally. I don't think it's possible to have a stable, healthy relationship with somebody who fucking floors you. I mean, you can be impressed, you can enjoy making love with them, you can enjoy hanging with them, but if they make your jaw drop, you know what I mean? Like you're looking at her like she's Carmen Electra or something, then you got to think about how is it possible for you to lead? Because you've automatically got her on a pedestal.
The best advice I've
okay,
ever
Hotep,
heard.
then EO. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just hop in real fast. The best advice I've ever heard from anybody ever when it comes to women, outside of Japs, don't bust them, was Coach EO's advice. Never settle down with a woman you haven't been through all 4 seasons with.
Yes.
That is the best advice you could ever follow. That was you, right, EO?
Yeah.
If you ain't been through all 4 seasons, you don't know her.
No, you do not. What you got, EO?
Nothing about her.
Yeah, I was gonna say one way to overcome that pedestalization that goes on with these baddies is to be better than her in every single way. So you got a better body than her, you dress flyer than her, you make more money than her, your entire lifestyle, your mindset. Here's the truth: if you're a man that's thinking of very high things, you're automatically better than her.
Yes,
she
sir.
Can't think to that level. She can't rise to that level of consciousness, bro. She can't do it. The only time that she can get even remotely close to that level of consciousness is when you share time and wisdom with her. That's the only time that she's gonna ever be able to get there. So, truth be told, is the only way the way to conquer that vision of having those lines being blurred is living like being a human god.
Don't you guys think selecting a wife is a different process, or selecting a living partner is different than the selection process of just wanting to fuck?
Yes. It's definitely different.
There's different priorities, and I think people try to mesh the priorities and have a checklist. Like she's got to have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that little bit of everything. They have their key qualities that make them who they are. So you got to pick and choose.
And if they do, it's the woman you're talking about.
Pressure. A lot of that has to do with social conditioning too. There's men out here that get married to women because they want to impress their boys.
Right. Yep.
Yet she torments them every single fucking day. You know what I'm saying?
That.
So I mean, there's dudes miserable all because they wanted to walk in with a baddie to impress some dudes that don't give a flying fuck at the end of the day if this man has an early heart attack or not. So you got to ultimately make the decision for yourself. It's very important. But yes, you're right about that, because even in my 20s, in my player days, even early 30s, I knew I wasn't marrying these chicks, so I didn't give a fuck how they dressed, what they did. I didn't give a flying fuck because I already knew that she was never gonna advance in my life.
Right.
So I just dealt with her for a moment of time, and then when that situation disintegrated, I was perfectly fine with it.
And I'll say this, man: and this is real simple for me. When I look at a woman, no matter how bad she is, like that shit don't mean nothing to me. Because the bottom line is, I got the dick.
Damn right.
That's just the bottom line.
That's
like the penis power is mine. So when I look at her, what is there to look at to say, I've gotten this gift, I've gotten this thing, I've gotten this? She is just a woman who, when I'm at my best, when I'm at my peak, all she can do is be beneath me. Like, there is no above me. When I look above me, I see God. I don't see her. She can't be there. There's nothing she can do to ever be there. And so when you think about the beauty, and I promise you guys, I promise you, she could be the most beautiful woman in the world.
That's right.
After you fuck her, she's not as beautiful anymore.
That's right.
She just never is. And if you can't fuck her, that was a good one. And if you can't fuck her, then so what? Fucking will never be the best thing in your life.
Nope.
Because if you broke and you got the baddest chick in your bed, guess what? When she leave, your ass gonna have to figure out what you're gonna eat.
Damn right.
So, you know, if you focus on the right priorities and continue to build yourself into your best version, you suddenly start to look at women and say, you know what? She's bad, but I am the best she could fucking do.
You know it.
I'm the best she could have.
You know it.
Now bow down and act like your ass know how blessed you are, shawty.
I'm gonna show you guys a tweet, and I caught a lot of heat for this tweet, but I didn't give a shit. So what you guys are looking at on your screen, I said and this actually has a lot to do with what Sabo says. The best relationship your best relationship can never be with the woman you love the most. The woman that I have loved the most in my entire life was a girl named Amy. Number 2 was a Ukrainian girl named Tatiana. Number 3 was a girl from Santa Monica named Jennifer. Number 4 was a girl named Christiana from East LA. Devin is a distant 5. Now, a lot of people are like, well, wait a minute, Donna. And I actually had dudes trying to check me on this too. Well, wait a minute. How can you say that? You mean, what does Devin say that when she finds out that you don't love her the most? Listen, I love Devin. She's good to me. I'm sexually attracted to her. We have what appears to be a good, solid relationship. But if I felt for Devin the same way I felt for Amy, there is no way. This is exactly what Kevin said, and I've said this for years. There is no way that I could do what needs to be done to keep her in line. When you love a woman that much, borderline infatuation, it is impossible for a man to do what is necessary to lead the relationship. And here's the thing, I'm very sexually attracted to Devin. Devin has a bad fucking body, but because I've experienced girls with badder bodies than her, I'm not as stupefied by it. Her body is, she's got a nice body. It keeps me aroused and this and that, but it's nothing it ain't nothing I've never had before. I've had younger, hotter, tighter, bigger, all of that. That's the reason why I'm able to, that experience is the reason why I'm able to keep her in line. A lot of guys ask me all the time, man, Donovan, you got Devin on a leash and this and that. No, I don't make Devin do anything she doesn't want to do. But when guys ask themselves, when they see my posts and they see how Devin falls in, and they really, really, really want to know, Donovan, what is the secret? What is the secret? How is it that you're able to keep this woman in line? Number 1, it's all of the experience that I've had with women who look better than her, who are tighter than her, who are younger than her, number 1. And number 2, I do not love her the most. She is either number 4 or 5 on that list. And listen, whether she's okay with it or not is immaterial. I'm okay with it. And if I'm okay with it, then she's going to have to be okay with it. Because listen, Devin has been with men who love her a hell of a lot more than I do, but guess what? They couldn't keep her ass in line, and I did. Anybody have thoughts on that?
Let me add one thing, man.
Okay, yeah, we'll go BOA then Savo.
Yeah, it'll be quick.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
When you think about this, man, I want you men to understand one thing. When we think about sites like Seeking Arrangements and all of these, hey man, I don't knock girls who do whatever the fuck they gotta do to make their money. That's their thing. Real talk. If you want to do it. Because I have the utmost respect for strippers, man. They work hard as fuck. Sometimes those guys ain't even in a temper, but they still have to grind. So I have nothing but respect for how hard they work to do what they do. But I'll say this: any woman who you dealt with when you were, in your player phase, she was probably in her hoe phase at the same time. Because those are the only women that want players. And here's the thing: you can never settle down with a woman like that. Because if a woman will exchange herself, her time, her sexual favors, anything for money, she can always get better than you if she's out to get money. Unless you're the biggest trick in the world. But a woman who's looking for a solid man, a solid leader, you know, a man who can guide her spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, put her in the best position to win at life, in his life, of course, then she can't do any better than you. And that's where the confidence comes in, to just be in the position you're in and never waver, because you know you being in that position is just best for your fucking life. At some point as a man, you got to say, okay, I'm only going to do the shit that's best for my life.
Right.
And I'm not going to do anything that's detrimental to my process of progress. And when you get to that point, perhaps you are thinking, you know what, maybe I'll just, you know, add Shawty here to my life a little bit.
Yeah.
And one more thing right quick, man. I constantly make sure that she knows she's fucking up. A little bit.
Oh yes.
Even when she's not fucking up, she's fucking up a little bit.
Oh yes, you better fucking believe it. Oh yes.
Because here's the thing, she really is fucking up a lot. We're just mature enough men to bypass the fact that women say stupid shit all the time.
Of course.
Like, that's just what they do. And for me, when you think about it, that's a sacrifice that you're making as a man. So she owes you every day of her life for making the sacrifice of dealing with just the stupidity and illogic that a woman gives you every damn day.
Savo, how do you follow that up, man? Because I got something after this.
I was still just wanting to respond to what you were talking about. Donovan and I have a great talk where I really killed the talking points on this exact thing that we're talking about. You find one of the interviews me and him have on his channel. The reason I keep coming back to the point about how people shouldn't choose infatuation and lead with infatuation, basically become obsessed with a woman, mistake it for a decent sense of love, and use that as the reason that they should settle down. The reason I keep coming back to that point is because it's encouraged by society to do that. It is. So when you talk about red pill versus blue pill, I kind of like a lot of EO's points about how we don't even always need to use that system or always use the Matrix as an example. And I agree with that also. But here's where it really applies. Red pill and blue pill applies in this particular circumstances. And this is the reason I think those phrases were coined, because society has always encouraged. We're talking about you know, your parents and your grandparents, your family, poetry, movies has always encouraged a man to settle down with the woman who he has become the most obsessed and infatuated with. And so I think most guys find the red pill when they realize that that route didn't work for them, because they didn't have an established dynamic with a person that worked. They were just obsessed. So it's like, give me and let me keep it and let me try to tame it. And people lose their minds in situations like that.
When you get that
and
feeling
let me add one
stomach,
more thing, man, about the greatest travesty of being infatuated with a woman.
Please.
That shit don't seem that bad when she's young, spry, bad as fuck.
Hell
but here's the thing about infatuation. When she loses all that shit, guess who's still infatuated with a chick that's gained 100 fucking pounds?
Oh God!
That type of infatuation, as long as you're with that woman you're infatuated with, you're always going to be infatuated, even if you never get her. What about the guy who wanted the woman when she was young and spry, when she been giving him the time of day? Now she's got 4 fucking kids by 4 men, and that fool marries her because he's still infatuated with the girl she used to be. And that shit is like blinders on your eyes, man. You can't see the truth of a woman if you're infatuated with her. She could be the most low down, conniving broad in the world, but you know what? I love her.
My ex-wife's current husband, literally that guy. Literally that guy. You guys know I try to be as transparent as humanly possible, and something that BOA talked about just a few moments ago. I'll actually tell you about this conversation. So a few days ago, it was I can't remember when this conversation was, but it was fairly recent. Devin was fucking up. You see, Devin, she's looking good lately, right? She's got the, she got the boob job. She's looking real good. The stomach, I mean, like, she is looking her best. She looks better than she has ever looked in our relationship. Period. And so in a woman's mind, and she didn't do this consciously, this is sort of subconsciously, right? So I'm smashing her all the time. She's looking good, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not filling her head full of hot air. I don't have to tell Devin she looks good. I don't say, hey, Devin, you're looking good. No, I show her. She'll say, does this look good on me? Listen, if my dick is in your ass at the end of the night, you have your answer. That's the way I communicate. Am I smacking your ass? Then yeah, you're looking good. So for the past, I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe a month or so, Devin had completely slacked off. The cleaning wasn't getting done. She was looking all frumpy, and I was like, yo, this. So here's what I did. I bought me, no, check it out. I bought me a new carpet cleaner. I cleaned the entire house from top to bottom. when I washed the last carpet, I said, Dev, come on up here for a second. Sat her down in our room. I sat her down. I said, you know what? I said, it's a goddamn shame that I had to clean this house from top to fucking bottom. I said, that's not what I'm here for. I said, I am doing your job. I'm like, yeah, you look good, but if you don't pick up the slack, this shit is not going to work. I said, I will never, ever, ever do the amount of housework that I've done here over the last 24 to 36 hours. The reason I did it was to show you that it could be fucking done. I said, oh, and by the way, you're going to stop walking around here in fucking in sweatshirts. Your ass is going to have your hair did every day. You're going to be looking good. Makeup every day. You're still going to work. You're still going to be working out. I want you looking good. You're going to give me your best, and you're going to keep my shit clean. And she responded in kind.
That goes back to the fact that women can't do nothing better than men.
There you go. There you go, man. There it is.
I remember I told my lady one time, I said, you don't clean up, you tidy up.
Real talk, man.
Let me show you clean, because I had a military dad. So, you know, when you say you cleaned your room, you say, yeah. And he'd reach his finger behind some place that you didn't even know existed and pull out some dust and say, you call this clean? So, you know, it just goes back. Cleaners. Yeah, they surface cleaners. Yeah. So, you know, every once in a while, you got to get down. You got to do that to show her, yo, you could never.
There it is.
Attain the level of greatness that I can achieve. You don't aspire to.
Definite G in the chat says she got too arrogant. No, Devin didn't get arrogant at all. This was listen, what happened with Dev, and this happens every 5 or 6 months. Your girl is going to get comfortable when you provide your girl the kind of life that the dope life, like EO says. Listen, human nature is to get comfortable, but it is your job as a man to snap her out of this shit. Be like, hey, check this shit out. You're fucking up. You look good, but I need my fucking house clean, and I need you looking good. If you can't, then this ain't gonna work. She has a choice. She can either take her good-looking self and go find somebody else, or she can follow the fucking line. But no woman, dude, not even Devin is perfect. I gotta keep her in line all the time. And it's just like BOA said, you can never, ever, ever not tell a woman when she's fucking up. You can't do it. You cannot let that shit slide not one fucking time.
That's what I was talking about with another cat. You know, he was talking about you know, when you give a woman flowers and all this stuff, and they say, flowers, no, they call them for no reason. Flowers.
Because of just because.
And I said, no, the only time a woman gets flowers is as a reward for good behavior.
There it is.
Whenever you give a woman flowers and all this stuff outside of that dynamic, it can take it for granted, and you know, it means nothing. The flowers mean nothing,
right? Because she didn't earn it.
You have to give the flowers meaning. So, for example, you know, when you send a flower, oh, I love you, babe. No, it should be, yo, that sandwich you made the other day, that was the best sandwich you ever made.
Real talk.
You're kind of consistent with them, or you know, you've been doing this. You have to put a staple and say, hey, you've been doing such and such very well, and you have to label these flowers as rewards. Otherwise, they mean nothing.
Okay,
this is why too.
Go ahead.
Real quick, 10
No, go ahead. You got it.
This is why I always tell guys not to fuck your girl all the time.
Real talk.
I'm against fucking your girl all the time. For one, that soups her head up too much. Number one,
My guy,
and number two, she needs to earn the dick.
Damn right.
Like
you
guys tell me all the time, man. I gotta smash every day, bro, or I ain't gonna be the same. I'm like, you're a simp, bro.
Nah,
and she disrespects you. I want you to know she disrespects it. That Windex ain't. There's streaks all over that mirror, bro. I promise you that. See me, I'll look at the glass and I will tell her, yo, you missed that right there. You see that?
Goddamn right.
Hey, if you're gonna clean it right. Like I am not afraid to do that. But here's another. I mean, I am for not fucking your girl all the time. Like she has to earn the dick, and she also has to see, if you fuck her too much, she gonna think that she's the shit.
There you go.
An oversexed man, in my opinion, can't be trusted.
Nope.
Let me add one little tidbit here.
Do it. Get in there.
Here's another thing, man. Just building on what EO said, man. Great point. As a matter of fact, you have to make her earn the dick, but you have to make her earn everything. Because a woman only values what she earns and what she pays for.
Correct.
If you can buy a woman a fucking $5,000 pair of shoes, and she'll take them bitches and just kick them off in the closet.
Yep.
You let her buy that $5,000 pair of shoes. Them bitches go back in the box every time
Hell
she takes
yes.
them off.
Hell
She
yes.
only values
paper.
what she, yeah, right, the paper and all that shit. little fucking cloth to wipe them off. All kinds of shit going on.
She still got the bag that it came in.
Bitch is like a hardtop convertible car. They don't even go outside when it's
Hell
raining.
no.
The sun got to be out. So it's nothing wrong with making her earn everything. That's how you get her best, because I promise you, I don't care how good your woman is. She's just not wired to value shit that she doesn't earn.
No, never, ever, ever. And see what EO just said, and we're going to go around the panel with one last question because I think this is going to be a good one. What EO just said takes dick discipline. There are times where I want to fuck Dev where I know listen, I can't do it. Dude, she fucked up, or she did, or she said some shit, or she's just not acting right. Like this morning, she was being kind of a bitch, so I didn't say anything to her. All of a sudden now she's like, well, thank you for blah, 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 and this and that and the third. And she's like, well, what was going on this morning? I said, well, if you're going to act like a bitch, I'm going to act like a dick. Like, that's just kind of how it goes. She didn't take it personally. She understood, okay, all right, I slipped into bitch mode, whatever the case may be. I didn't have to make a big deal out of it. The point is, it's just like EO said, man. An oversexed man is a man you cannot trust, not only with other men, but you can't trust him to lead. Because if a woman knows all she's got to do is shake her ass or her tits and she can get out of whatever she was in, or she can get something out of you, she doesn't have respect for you. Devin knows she looks good. She knows that I know she looks good, but she knows that she can't use her body to control me. And this is what Kevin was talking about earlier. If you are infatuated with a woman, you really just love fucking her.
I don't like that mesmerizing shit.
Man, no, dude.
I don't.
And it
when
feels,
a chick is giving me those eyes, I don't
Man.
like that. I'm a old school horror movie fan. I associate that with Dracula. I don't like that shit. I really do not. I do not like when I get those looks like, you sure you don't want to fuck me? You sure you don't want? I'm like, what is it you trying to do to me?
Fuck, dude. Yeah,
young and susceptible to this bullshit.
That'll pass.
Yes, that'll
about 5 more years.
Yeah, that'll definitely. And it helps that I'm 44. Okay, last question for the panel, and I want you guys to try your best on this. So let's try to quantify when a man is ready. And I know there are going to be other non-quantifiable intangibles, but it is my opinion that a man needs to be at least 35 years of age and have fucked at least 35 women before he even thinks about entertaining a long-term relationship with a woman. Obviously, there are other mindsets, there are experiences, there may be financial markers that you have to reach. Listen, we're going to go in order. EO, what if you can? What are the quantifiable numbers that a man needs to have, and then some of the intangibles before he starts to think about a long-term relationship with a woman?
You know, again, you got to be a free thinker to get into a serious relationship. I mean, if it's something pressured by family, culture, your friends, everyone else around you's married, now you think you got to do it. I mean, you really have to be a free thinker when you make a decision on a woman. Remember, guys, you can if you're making good money, you can get a maid. Okay, you don't need a bitch to clean. You can just have someone come up once a week, twice a week. You can have meals delivered to you. You don't need her to make shit, so you can have a bitch in the kitchen with an attitude. And you can just be a single dude that just has a rotational woman, or just one woman you see casually, or you know, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Or you can buy some bitches. I mean, it's up to you.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
You know, look, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if you make good money and you got a 6-week relationship with someone you see, pay for play, and that's how you want to roll because you don't want a headache, hey, more power to you. So I'll just say that you got to be a free thinker. You got to know exactly what you want. You got to know your strengths and weaknesses. And I always say this: get to the point where you'd rather open an envelope with 10 racks, a check with 10K, than have a bitch that's a 10 in your view. I'd rather you open up an envelope with a check
all fucking day, baby,
and then you get
all
that,
day.
and you get that keep coming, than a bitch that you see as a 10 sitting in the other room.
Real talk. Money gives me a harder boner than women. That's just kind of how that goes with me. BOA, what are, in your opinion, what does a man need to accomplish age-wise, lay count-wise, accomplishment-wise, to be ready for a long-term relationship, if ever?
The first thing is, man, you have to be in a position of power in your own life.
Okay.
Because here's the thing about men wanting a woman to come in and be in a submissive position. When a woman submits in your life, she's making you the king of her fucking life.
Yes.
So how you gonna be the king of her life and you're not ruling your own shit yet? So you have to be, and that don't mean that you just got so much money that you don't have to work. There's many motherfuckers who have a job, a great paying job, mid-6-figure job. So I can't say, oh, you're not in a position of power. The power is about controlling yourself as a man. When is the last time you crossed the line that you don't want to fucking cross because you couldn't resist some shit, or you couldn't control yourself, or you were doing something that put you out of control of yourself for any period of time? The second thing is you have to be to the point where you understand puss ain't worth it, it has no value. So even what EO was saying, the guy, you're not paying for the pussy, you're paying for the girlfriend experience, which you only want temporarily. So sometimes the woman come over, you may not even fuck her, but you want the girlfriend experience, the Netflix and chill experience that a man who has a steady woman in his life has whenever he wants it. And the third thing, this is the biggest shit, this has to do with the woman. Never settle down with a woman until you weigh the benefit she brings to your life versus how your life will be when she's out of it. If she brings so much benefit to your life that your life is better with her in it, and you got to be an honest man about this shit. None of that super macho shit where I can do without the bitch. Of course you can do without her, but is your life better with her in it?
Right.
At that point, if that coalition of things happens all at once, you might be ready.
Good shit, Hotep. What are the quantifiable markers, lay count, age, accomplishments does a man need to meet, in your opinion, before he's ready for a long-term relationship?
I mean, the numbers as far as getting laid are kind of, I know it's different, right? Because like I didn't smash a whole lot of chicks, but they was all 9s and 8s. And,
oh, there you go.
You know, like I've had, because my dick is selective, okay? So like when I was younger, like if she wasn't like model material,
a bad bitch,
she wasn't even in my phone. You know what I mean? And I was a young pretty boy, you know, I dressed real nice and all of that. So like for me, it wasn't about smashing the chicks. I just wanted the hottest chick in the building, or you know, whoever, you know, the homies desire. Like, yeah, that's me right there. So, you know, the numbers vary, because if you smash 35 ones, yeah, that
oh,
what is
God.
What does that
that
add
does
up
not
to?
count.
Yeah,
that does not count.
I don't even know if that counts. You know, I think that a lot of this comes down to the word selflessness.
Okay.
You need to find a woman that's selfless. That's the number one quality in a woman, is selflessness. And there's different ways that you can figure that out. One question I always tell men to ask is, ask a woman if she could have any wish in the world, what would she wish for? And she's gonna have two types of wishes: selfish and selfless. And if you get one of those girls that say, hey, you know, I wish for world peace, give her a point.
Okay. All right.
Give her a point. Now, some women are intelligent and will answer that question knowing it's a,
of course, a test of sorts, right?
It's a test of sorts. So try not to ask it in that type of environment, that type of way. Just let it be randomly. But most women,
I like that,
fall for it, and they all ask for something selfish. You know,
I want to be the baddest bitch.
Yeah, but you want to find women that do stuff for you without you asking. If women are doing things for you without you asking, just like out of the blue, you're on the right track of finding somebody that's worthy of your time. I don't know if age makes the most sense. I think financial income makes the most sense.
Okay.
And obviously that's geographic, because if you make 6 figures in Jersey, that's not the same as making 6 figures in Alabama. Alabama, you're gonna get you a big old house. In Jersey, you're gonna get yourself a 2-bedroom apartment.
Right. right.
Or New York, you know. So, you know, based upon your geographics and your income, and your own personal desires, right? Like some dudes are happy making 6 figures, living in Georgia, having that house, and working till 60, right? Some people want to retire at 30. Some people want to retire at 40. Some people want to be billionaires, like myself. Like right. That's just
millions
don't excite me, right?
Right.
So know what you want out of life before you settle down, because once you settle down, those things become less attainable.
Very good. Sabo, again, young guy on the panel. Now, you're not thinking about this anytime soon, but what are some of the metrics that you're thinking about?
I agree with most of the metrics that have been stated. I think you got to be at a certain age, 35 and over 35 women sounds good. All the points that everybody made sounds good. Let me speak to the young guys instead of speaking to what you guys are speaking to and give you the reasons and not to settle down. Okay? Here's a fine metric I got here. If you think you're ready to settle down based on how you feel about a situation that you have with a woman, make a list of, I think BOA said something to this effect, make a list of the ways she benefits you.
There you go.
Also, just try to make a list of the reasons you like her. Sometimes you're so infatuated, you think you're in love with a woman, you think you want to settle down just because you're all over the place. And sometimes I've noticed in situations like that, I've stopped. This is how I tame my young mind and shit. I've stopped and I've been like, make a list of everything that you like about her. And sometimes you come up with nothing.
Right.
You know, once you scrap through tits, ass, pussy, and you're like, okay, I don't like anything about her. I don't like the shit she says. I don't like having her around.
Right.
She doesn't benefit me. She hinders me more than she benefits me. So I've really crushed this topic on other platforms. I'm getting over being sick and I'm fumbling my thoughts a bit tonight, but I keep coming back to the same point mainly because of how often this decision really gets made, the fashion in which this decision usually gets made. I'd say the typical answer, I mean, when you ask the question, the typical answer is simple. If you've been in the game long enough, the game gets tiring. The game also brings a lot of chaos. The game involves a lot of maintenance. I mean, I've been through all of it because as a young guy, I wanted the system without the maintenance. I wanted the 3-4 girl rotation without handling it properly and just letting chaos fucking take its course. And that's a lot of shit. You know, that's a lot of shit to deal with.
You know, one thing, I think what's up?
You never had a Rolling Rock bitch, bro?
What's that?
Hey, a Rolling Rock is a beer that's low, like a Miller High Life. You had a Miller High Life, bitch. Hey, you gotta have a Miller High Life, bitch, and you gotta have that model, bitch, bro. You gotta have both so you can make that determination, bro.
I've gotten some fellatio from a Rolling Rock.
Words. There it is. There it is.
Some fellatio,
yes,
some
sir.
random fellatio. You know, you walk in the house and she's like, "You come here." All right.
You're like, "Oh, okay."
Like, yeah. You know, like that has. I'm not gonna. It wasn't what I wanted, but it was, I wasn't turning down.
Sometimes a hot dog from the hot dog stand at the corner is decent. It hits.
You feel me? You feel me?
Yeah. You know, on the subject of settling down. That's
that's
a great analogy though, because sometimes that hot dog will hit the
hell yeah,
better than that steak. Better than that steak.
Can I ask the guys on the panel real quick? Do you associate a guy who wants to be a player till the end of time with immaturity?
Well, that leads into my point. That leads into my point, right?
Go ahead.
I believe that settling it down is a biological inevitability.
Okay.
Not a mentality.
No, you just be like, you know what? Like you just wake up one day and be like, I'm tired of this shit. It's something that just happens to you as a man, where it's just like the cost benefit analysis of going out and being with another chick, as opposed to sitting down and, you know, cutting on the TV or doing whatever it is that you want to do. Like let's say I was single right now.
Yeah.
And it'd be like a chick 40 minutes away. I'd rather sit at home on my computer and study chess than travel 40 minutes to go. Like, once you hit that point, you know it's just like, you know what, I'm out the game.
Listen, man, this is something.
Don't have the energy to.
Not only that, man, if you've been in the.
So he says, if you got somebody who is, player for life, that means they never actually been a player. And all players get tired.
You know what? You're right. Anybody who says they're going to be a player for life has never been a player. But at some point,
you got started in your 40s because you wasn't about shit in your young.
Right. Well, at some point it's going to catch up to him. But everybody, like every man, reaches a point of diminishing returns. Listen, man, 20 years ago, I'd have driven 40 miles to smash a piece of something, but I'm not doing that now because I got other shit to do. At some point, in the player life, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It's just not.
Yeah.
And listen, the juice is worth the squeeze in your in your early 20s and sometimes early 30s when your balls are the heaviest. But dude, after you fucked every blonde, brunette, redhead, whatever, stripper, fake titty bitches, okay, been there, done that. It was nice, but I'm not trying to work as hard for that. So I'd rather sit here and work on my studio.
Let me give y'all a funny example right here, man. I had a partner, man, back in the day, man, and he was me, like Hotep said, I was a tad bit more selective. With me, I didn't just fuck a woman because she was bad. Like, I always had to have some type of connection with her. There had to be something more than just a physical connection. There had to be something else. Yeah. Man, this guy, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I pit him against Wilt. I know for a fact he knocked down 100 bitches in the apartment complex in one summer. He was going. And man, we were out somewhere one time, man, and a woman, and he tried to approach her, bro. And she played along with it, and then she said, "You know what, you ain't shit." He said, "Shawty, you don't know me." She called him by name and said, "I don't know you." He asked her, "Did we fuck before?" And she just walked off. I said, "Dog, you've been fucking too much, homie. When you can approach a woman you've already fucked." Yeah. And I was like, man, but even him, shit, man, he settled down. I mean, he's chilling now, like, shit, man, fuck it. I'm tired of it.
God damn.
Yeah. You mind if I throw in one last thing for the guys that I forgot to mention?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
A staple in my business, bro. You got to make sure the woman invests financially into you too.
Yes.
It's very important that she spends money, because if she ain't spending money, she don't like you. She does not like you, man. I've been saying this for the longest time. She's got to invest financially into you. But if she doesn't have a lot of money, she's still got to do little things that are important to you. So, like, if you like pound cake, she better show up with a pound cake and put some strawberries on the top and serve it to you. Put it in the microwave and say, "Here, baby, I know you like your pound cake. Go ahead and you have your pound. I'm gonna go get your coffee." Like, she's got to be doing things for you, but financially, she's got to make investments. Whether she brings money to you, actually giving you money, she buys you things you like that are valuable to you. So not just she could buy you little like a watch or whatever, cologne, all that, but she's also got to buy things that are valuable to you. But it's your job to tell her what is valuable to you, so she can make that purchase. But it's very important that the woman spends money on you, it's especially in the beginning. Now, if later on she ends up working for you, okay, that's your money, but she earns it too. But it's very, very important that woman finds out what's important to you, and she becomes a provisioner of that.
Absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely. I agree completely.
That's a big deal break. You've been dating a girl a month and she ain't bought you nothing?
Yeah, she's out.
That's right.
She's out. Women are much less, just like anything in life, women are much less likely to walk away from something they are invested in. And that, of course, is if she helps you make money, if she brings you money, she has to add some sort of monetary value to your life, and it has to come out of her own pocket. It cannot be her pussy, because she's giving her pussy to 376 other niggas. That doesn't matter to her, right? But women will fuck 376 dudes. They've only given money to maybe 3 or 4. Just always remember that. Okay, so okay, very good. Let us go around the panel one last time. Let's give our final thoughts and where the people can find you. We're gonna go backwards this time. We will start with Sabo. Sabo, start us off.
I've exhausted my talking points on the subject. Thank you for having me out. I'll let you guys close it out. The Adventures of Sabaho, episode 3. I want everybody watching to go over to the channel, The Adventures of Sabaho. You see Donovan Sharp do an acting cameo.
Woo-hoo!
And he's phenomenal in it. Like, really funny stuff. Thanks to everybody on the panel.
Absolutely. Hotep.
I'm Hotep Jesus. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/HotepJesus. By doing so, you'll automatically become smarter. You'll gain like 10 IQ points.
Yeah. Yes. I totally agree. Except for when you're on a panel with him, because he makes you look 10 IQ points dumber. So
that's not true.
Yeah, absolutely. BOA, what you got, man?
Hey, what's good, man? Listen, great topic tonight, man. And just remember, whenever you settle down, if you settle down, when you settle down, always do that shit because you want to, and not because somebody else feels like you should, or you feel like, if you feel, I'm getting so old, I need to settle down, and then you settle down and you're still a player while you settle down, the shit don't work like that. You got to be ready for it. Man, you can find me on YouTube, Book About For Running Me, IG, book_of_out for running me.
Yes, sir.
Also, man, for merch perks, bookofoutforrunning.com.
Love it, man. Love it. EO, take us home.
Dope. Hey, dope show tonight. Good to be with you guys.
Yes.
Great dialogue as always. Man, where could I go with it? We haven't even gone yet. It's just one of those things you got to get experience, and don't get married because you care about what other people think. You know, don't do it for your family. Don't do it for your culture. Don't do it for religion. Definitely don't marry a chick because you want arm candy. Fuck that arm candy shit. Get that out of your system early. When you're younger, you know, show up with some quote baddies to places. Get that out of your system. But you know, as you grow older, man, you want chicks that are gonna go get your prescriptions for you and shit. Shout out to Sinbad. He had a stand-up back in the day. He's like, man, I ain't leaving my chick for some of these younger. I want my chick that knows when I get my medications and shit. Now, look, as you get older, you hopefully you live a pretty healthy life. But, you know, the body breaks down. You're going to need some things. You want a chick that cares about your well-being, okay? You want a chick that's going to rub your feet, lotion your fucking feet for you.
Yeah, man.
And pamper you. And look, I really mean this. In the end, this is what matters the most is a woman that looks up to you. And that your survival is her survival. Okay, understand that right now. If a woman sees your survival and your well-being as her survival and her well-being, you got a pretty good chick right there. So I'm Coach EO. You can find me. Just type it in. You see a big-ass head. That's me. And championgamecoaching.com is my website. I also got a clothing site, too, championgameapparel.com. And me and Donovan will be back next Saturday.
Yes, sir.
League level game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very good. That is going to do it for this edition of The Six. Thank you to all of the panelists for chiming in. Thank you very much to all of the super chatters. We will see you guys next week. Take care.